there, second grade. I am going to start coloring my person, and I thought I would give you some ideas. If you have watercolor at home, one thing you could do is color your person with crayon and then use watercolor to make the water. And that's how I'm going to show you how I would color this one. If you don't have watercolor, I will walk you through a couple ideas on how you might make the water instead. Because what we need for water to look like water is light and dark blue. And what's nice about using crayon, if you do have watercolor, is that when I go to paint this, the crayon should help keep the water off of my drawing. So oil crayon works best if you had oil crayon, but crayon should also help, kind of like a umbrella. It'll have that waxy surface that will keep the watercolor away. Now as I'm coloring this person in, I decided to add flippers instead of the feet. And then I'm thinking about colors that are going to stand out in the blue water. So that's why I'm using colors that are not blue. Well, I've colored my person with crayon and I'm ready to add the water. And as I did a quick search for people swimming in a pool, I'm noticing that a lot of these have kind of a turquoise color, and then the water, that kind of as the sun is coming in, we see a white line. So I'm going to take a white crayon and I'm going to create just some kind of wavy, curvy lines with my white crayon. I don't want to break my crayon, but I'm pressing kind of hard because if I'm watercoloring over it, it needs to be pretty heavy on there for the watercolor to kind of go off the crayon. So I'm just gonna go. So I've got this side pretty well lined in. And so I'm gonna just watercolor right down here so you can see. And I actually have got a tray that has quite a few different colors. This one is kind of a turquoise color that reminds me of those pools. So I'm gonna add some water to it in the tray so that I can get a lighter shade. And then I've got this really large brush that holds a lot of watercolor. Now the other thing I want to think about is I am in my sketchbook, which means I've got other papers behind this. So I'm actually gonna put this paper or this cardboard piece, and hopefully you've got something, this is just a scrap of cardboard, so that I don't get all my pages wet, because I don't know. Ooh, this is turning out nice. Do you see those white lines? And I just went through once. I wasn't going over and over. Okay, so and then hopefully if I colored my person heavy enough with the crayon, if I get too close to the person, it should not color the blue on the person either. Very nice. I'm excited to see this when it's finished. Here I'm finishing up the watercolor, and you will notice on the drawing paper that the water does make the paper kind of speckly, but it'll dry normal. Okay, so what if you don't have watercolor? I've been experimenting with crayons and colored pencils, and this one I used the blue, and then I tried to write on it with a white crayon, and I'm noticing that the white does not show up. I have a white crayon, and when I did that, it kind of shows up. I mean, at least it you can see a different color in there. I'm not sure if you have a white crayon at home. And then what I did here is I found the lightest blue I had, which this one is called blue green, and I just took my regular blue and I'm just kind of drawing waves on there. So that works. And one thing, you know, if you're coloring water, you might consider coloring it like kind of in a slightly curvy line anyway, so that it kind of looks watery. And I could just press, could also just take this same color and do light and dark. So if you wanted to try and leave a white line, it would just take a while to plan that out. And then for my colored pencils, I did the same. I colored with a light colored pencil, tried to color with white, nothing showing up. But here, let's see, I had turquoise and green blue. So I first colored with the turquoise color, the lighter blue that I had. And then I'm playing around with making some waves with this color. So I think, you know, if this will still read as water if I've got 2 shades of blue. So if you don't have the watercolor or you're worried about getting your sketchbook wet, you know, you can certainly create water with some other materials.